Fans of Beyond the Gates of Antares, thank you very much for joining me for an unboxing video of the Boromite Matronite Brood Mother by Warlord Games. So, what is this peculiar beast, I hear you ask me? In front of us, well, this is currently the largest miniature produced by Warlord Games as part of their Beyond the Gates of Antares science fiction war game. And I've been lucky enough to be given this as a sample copy by Warlord Games for review purposes. And, well, I'm going to unbox it and we're going to do a little bit of work on this model and see what it's like. I've never had anything quite like this from Warlord Games. I've had a few of their Beyond the Gates of Antares kits, mainly metal, but I've also had the Liberator tank for the Algrin, which I've done some reviews on previously. But I've never had anything from the Boromites, so this is completely new for me. So what I'm going to do in this video is we're going to unbox this and take a look at this. So as I said at the start of the video, this is a sample that has been provided to me free of charge by Warlord Games for review purposes. As always, I will review this impartially. If it's good, I'll say it's good. If it's not good, I'll point that out. But please do bear that in mind when assessing the opinions I offer in this video. The Matronite Brood Mother is currently, as far as I've been able to find out, the largest resin kit that's actually produced by Warlord Games. I think it costs about £75 or £80 if I remember rightly. So let's get into this. So obviously the first challenge and opportunity with these videos is to get past the shrink wrap. Go. So this is a part resin, part metal kit. I think as I understand it, the resin is going to be the main components of the Matronite Brood Mother, and then the metal parts I think are the weapon stations. But let's open it up and have a look. So what do we get inside? We get some parts. We get some big parts. Gosh. That's a whopper, that is. And we get a working with resin slip. And then we get, oh, this is rather neat. Look at that. How about that then? Instructions on one side, and on the other, the full rules for using it in game. Oh, love that. That's what we need. And printed in full colour as well. That looks really smart. Really smart indeed. Yeah, I do like that. And then all these instructions here as well. Gosh, right, so I'll set that to one side. Let's have a quick look. So this is Warlord Games' working with resin guide, usual stuff. I do like how they say, this is because when manufacturing finely cast resin kits, we use some quite advanced techniques in what that is in effect an artisan style business. For example, the molds are hand cut by eye, and the resin is poured by a specialist by hand before being placed in a vacuum chamber that removes air bubbles. Yes, it's nice to, I think I said that last time I reviewed one of these, but it's nice to understand a bit of how the process works. So, well, let's start with this bag of what appears to be the main components of the Brood Mother. Oh gosh, so we get this, and we get this. Wow, this is positively Cthulhu-esque. I don't think it's supposed to be Cthulhu-esque, but I was just reading the Dunwich Horror yesterday, and I'm thinking all Cthulhu at the moment. And then another bit, so three really rather large resin components there. Tell you what, let's drop the camera down a touch. Now we've got the box open, there we are. Right, let's have a look at these, gosh. Would you look at this thing? So this is the lower body. Blimey. I don't even quite know what to make of this. It's quite intriguing, to put it mildly. That said, it looks very nicely cast. Oh yeah, there you go. This thing seems to be like a mobile nest or something, because I think this is a little lava beastie. Lavamites are they called? Can't remember now. Yeah, so let's check this over for casting quality. Yeah, I mean it all looks good. maybe a little bit to clean up there. I guess one thing with the model like this, where you've got such a random detailed surface, it's easier to clean up bits here and there because the form is so much less prescribed than if you're dealing with a tank with smooth lines, or an aircraft or something, or a figure in flush fitting armour. This kind of lends itself well to resin because of the random nature of the surface. And interesting as well how weight has been saved on this model. I don't know how they quite cast this, but I mean, this is quite thin. This is maybe about 1/2 centimetre thick, this shell, and then it's got this internal cross piece which clearly is reinforcing it. And I can't tell, and I'm not sure here, if that's actually been put in by hand as opposed to moulded. Fascinating. And clearly that's giving it strength. So there's a lower body. As is the case with the Warlord kits I've seen so far, they remove the keys before packaging, and that allows them to get them in smaller boxes and will correspondingly reduce the postage costs because you haven't got a piece of extra resin that you have to ship. Right, let's have a look at the top body. So here we've got the driver dude. I don't know what the correct name for him is, but he's a driver dude. Just try and get a focus there. So we've got a bit of a mould line to take off down his face, but it doesn't look like it's slipped. So I guess some careful knife work there, but nothing that can't be done, I don't think. More crazy random detail, but also mixing in with these sort of turrety things that look like that. Yeah, they've been clamped onto the torso of the Brood Mother, or the upper carapace perhaps. And then you've got 3 standard size weapon stations, and this which is a heavier weapon station as well. And I guess as well as a weapon mount, it also has got probably the power coupling as well, or the power system for these bigger weapons. So we'll come to that when we get to the guns and ammo. So this isn't going to be a perfect fit, but that's not, to be honest, there's not that much work there to do. A little bit of keys to remove, but you can straight away see the essential form of this thing. And that's actually quite a big model. When you actually get around to building this, we'll have to have some scale comparisons. Right, let's go to the Cthulhu-esque maw of the Matronite Brood Mother. So yeah, I mean, what more can you say to that other than it's got a big mouth with lots of rocky, teethy, bitey bits. It looks like something, I'm trying to think what this reminds me of. It reminds me of a lamprey, or perhaps a cookie cutter shark, if you've ever seen the pictures of the mouth parts of those creatures. There's a whole host of arthropods as well that have mouth part arrangements, something like this. So there's clearly a little bit of natural history that's gone into this one. Yeah, a little bit of cleanup to do, and then that's going to, let me see if we can work this out. It's not going to fit without taking off the remainder of these keys, but I think it's going to go something like that. So I can't tell what the fit's like yet. I'm guessing that this is going to be a model that's quite easy to get the fit right on, just by virtue of the fact of how, oh there you go, that's, I think I might have had it the wrong way around, just by virtue of the fact of how random and crazy it is. But yeah, look at that. Crazy kit. But in a good way, crazy in a good way. Right, so that's the body shell parts, 3 parts to that. Amazing that. Could also, it also makes you think a little bit of Shai-Hulud, one of the sandworms of Arrakis. Right, let's have a look in here. I suspect this is the limbs, or the legs, whatever you would actually call them, for this creature. Oh, and we have some guns and ammo as well. So let's start off with the limbs. Got some numbers as to what goes where. We've got the actual limb itself. A bit of a mould slip to take off there. Not too bad though. Whoopsie. Again, I think given the nature of the model, that's not difficult cleanup. But again, it's crazy detail. And just quite unlike anything I've ever looked at in a resin kit. So let's see if we can kind of set this out a bit. Right, so we've done that. What we've got here, another limb, got a little lava mite thing crawling all over it. Bit of flash to remove there, some more flash. Got a bit of flash on this side as well. Bit of a mould seam to take away there. All in all, that looks That looks good though. So that's the second limb. Now I've got the third limb. Bit more of a mould slippy seamy thing to clean up there. Bit more pronounced there, but again, you know, given what the kit's like and what the surface detail's like, this isn't too difficult to do, I would say. Fascinating stuff. I think this is the other front leg, I believe. Quite a bit of flash to take off here. You see here and here there's a fair bit of flash to remove. But everything looks lined up fine, so that's good. This has got 6 legs. Next leg is this one. Let's have a quick look over that. Got a bit more of a pronounced mould slippy thing to take away there. But you see, again, the thing is, I know that will clean up fine because of the random, somewhat erratic nature of the detail on this. That might be a bit different if it was running across guns or across fine vent details or stuff, but that, because of the nature of what this is, I don't see a problem with that. That's an interesting consideration, isn't it, that moulding quality on the resin model is not just a function of the general quality of a process, but also it depends on the actual model being produced as well. Certain models are more forgiving of production effects than others. And then the final limb. So I've got some more cleanup to do here. That might need a bit of a filling as opposed to actual cutting down. But good. But yeah, no air bubbles or anything. Just a fair bit of cleanup to do on those, but really interesting. This feels a slightly harder resin compound than the Liberator tank that I bought. That had a more rubbery feel to it, or more flexible feel. Right, so let's have a look at this. Now this is the heavy mag cannon, which is a weapon that can be mounted on what I call the heavy weapon position. So this thing will go here. As far as Antares arsenals go, this is your ultimate armor cracker. It does absolutely enormous damage with successful hits. Right, so here we have something of more of a classical sort of item I'm used to looking at for the detail. So look at what it's like. We've got a little bit of cleanup to do, but everything's beautifully lined up. And I mean, I can barely see. I mean, there's a little bit of evidence of where the mould's been there. I guess that doesn't matter because it's on the mount. A little bit to clean up there, but the actual, when we're looking around, this very fine detailing and these ridges, they run all the way around the weapon and the muzzle. It's all very nicely turned out indeed. A little bit to clean up there. Yeah, that's really good. Really, really good that. And a great looking weapon. I do like the look of mag weapons in Antares. Yeah. Cool, right. So I think that's all the resin components. So now let's go on to the actual metal components as well. Fair bit of weight here. So we have a series of turrets. We have a turret ring and a few bits of guns and ammo. So, right, where do I even start with these? Okay. Right, so let's just grab the instructions to try work this out. So, all right, so where we've got the gun actually moulded on to the mount, that is a maglite support. The turret ring is for the heavy weapon position. Right, so let's do the maglite supports with turret positions mounted on. These are a low lead alloy, so they're hard. So cleanup on these takes more time per unit effort, shall we say, than resin. This one's nicely turned out. You've got a little bit of a mould line here, but that seems to be about all really. A bit of flash here and there, but good. And these will all have the same thing on, but I can't really put it on properly because without the cleanup. But these are going to sit in here, and you've got this ball joint, so actually they're really posable in terms of how you set them up. Yeah, that's a good idea. So that's the first maglite support. Let's look at the second of the maglite supports. Pretty much the same drill here. terms of casting quality and etc. So yeah, very nice. And then the third of the 3 Maglite support with ball turret attached. And it's the same, yeah, comparable quality again. So that's all good stuff. Now we've got the turret ring, or the turret ring, yeah, perhaps you call it that, or the mounting ring for the heavy weapon position. And that's going to drop on there like that. And then your gun will set there like that. Clearly we've got a nice little magnetization option here with these. I can feel some magnets coming on. Then we've got 2 more guns, so let's have a look at this one. So what is this? This is the heavy mag support, I believe. So this is an alternate weapon to the mag cannon, which will go up on this position. And this is kind of like almost like a light auto cannon. Let's have a look at this then. This has got more cleanup work to do. You can see we've got we've got an offset all the way along there, and around the back as well. I will have to have a go at that and see how I go. Do I think that can be rescued? I think it probably can, yeah. We'll see how we go with that. I mean, I'm looking at that in a slightly different way to resin because the material is so much harder and difficult to clean up. But I think that can be sorted. And then the final weapon is one more alternate weapon for the main weapon station. And this is a standard Maglite support. Bit of cleanup to do there. Got a little seamy, slippy thing there, but overall not bad. That'll take a bit of doing just that bit running across the gun barrel because it's so square. But that will clean up fine, that one. And then we've got one final part, which is this intriguing component, and prizes in the comment section if anyone can figure it out before I actually tell them. What this is a helmet for the driver or the rider, I don't know which it is, and you can put it on him like that, so it's like his, I don't know, maybe VR battle space neural interfacing helmet. Quite like that. Looks good. Neat, yeah, that's rather cool, that. I'll leave that on there. So there we have it. Yeah, I think that's everything. Did we have a look at the instructions? Let's just have a quick look at the instruction guide. So it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's not an overly complex model. It does have photos here to show you the lettering as to how the legs sequence and on which side of a kit they go. That's good, and it's very, I'm saying it looks very clearly laid out, so there's no confusion about getting the wrong leg in the wrong joint, so that's good. But otherwise, in terms of the assembly complexity, it's a pretty straightforward kit in concept. Clearly, once we come to build it, we'll see how easy it is to get it all together. And it's going to be quite a fascinating build, this one. As you might have guessed, I'm going to come back, I'm going to shoot some construction videos around this to share with you guys and girls how it goes together. Anyway, so there you have it. The Boromite Matronite Brood Mother resin kit by Warlord Games for Beyond the Gates of Antares. Please share your thoughts about this model in the comments section. Have you seen anything as weird and wonderful as this? Particularly in the realms of science fiction gaming. Have you got a Boromite Matronite Brood Mother model? And if so, what do you think of it? Do you have Boromites and you would like one of these? I'll be interested to hear as always. But other than that, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you next time, and goodbye.